His annual State of the Judiciary address is the very Honorable Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Guam, F. Phillip Carbullido. Thank you so much for being with here. It's an honor.
Thank you, Jason, for inviting me. The privilege is mine.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Well, you know, your addresses every year are very, very stirring, even if people, you know, aren't into the practice of law. I mean, they're always very well delivered by yourself. You can sense the passion with which you have practiced law on island and, you know, with which you lead the Supreme Court. So, is it even possible, maybe within a couple minutes, to exactly say, like, what are some of the major themes that Guam faces as far as the legal community?
Well, I mean, I don't have any bombshell like, you know, that we have a surplus in our government. But there are themes that I have developed in my speech. And one of the themes that I address, I quote famed American author Alex Haley, probably best known for his series Roots, the book Roots, and he says, I quote him saying, find the good and praise it. And we live in a society where there is a lot of tragedy, there's a lot of tragic news that we've seen all too often, and the good in people, the good that we have in government is often overlooked. And so I want to take a few moments in terms of my speech and just recognize some of the good that transpires in the judiciary and hopefully be able to highlight that during the course of my discussion.
Now, one thing that's always been very consistent throughout, you know, your own leadership of the court and then Associate Justice Bob Torres, who we'll have later on in the program, has been a very progressive vision for technology in the courts. You know, the judiciary is always, you know, leaps and bounds typically above the rest of the government of Guam as far as, you know, having a sense of what is possible with innovation and then applying that to the practice of justice and everything. So talk about that.
Yeah, technology is very much a part of how we want to improve just our delivery of service. Justice Torres has been in the forefront in leading the implementation of our new case management system. We are completing our second phase and going into the third phase. And so I do touch on the use of technology in terms of how we deliver service at the court. Because of our dwindling resources, we continue to have to do more with less. And you know, it can't come at a better time to have the technology to help us modernize and be able to do with less manpower. And so that's very much a part of our program. And you know, what I've also touched upon and just in terms of how I've operated in the years that I have been Chief Justice is that I do things in a very structured way. A process I feel is very important when you're in an organization coming from the business sector and having to do with business plans. When I first came into government, I just felt that government was just reacting to whatever was the
trendy thing of the moment, or
the thing that we were reacting to whatever chaos occurred at the moment, and the fires that we had to put out. And while, you know, we can continue to do that, that was no way to operate an organization over a period of time. We have to have a vision, we have to have goals that we aspire to, and there must be steps in terms of how do we get there. And so very much a part of my leadership at the judiciary is that we've identified where we want to be 3 years, 5 years from now, and how do we get there, and we include just the entire personnel at the judiciary, all the judges, our mid-management, down to our clerks in terms of trying to see the big picture and where they fit in. And that's one of the things that I felt very proud of.
It's literally almost, you know, in the seat in which you sit is almost like being like the CEO of a large corporation.
I treat it that way because although, you know, some of my division heads will say otherwise, I don't want to micromanage. I put people around me that I feel I have trust and confidence in their ability in terms of doing the job that I have prescribed for them. And so I delegate it in that way. And although periodically there's you know, we have to oversee the operation and they have to report in terms of the delivery of service and their responsibility. And so far, I've felt that the organization is operating very well, considering that we don't have the resources, the entire resource that we would like, just in terms of the mandates that continuously is being imposed upon the judiciary. There are many things that traditionally the judiciary, whether it's here or in the mainland, is really not responsible or should not be responsible for. But we take it on because it's part of good governance in terms of the entire community.
Now, I'd like to ask you something, Chief Justice, is in your opinion, given your tenure as Chief Justice of the judiciary, during that time, how has the dynamic of the judicial branch of the government of Guam changed with, the legislative or the executive, or has it at all? And, describe that synergy.
Yeah, no, by the time I've completed my third term as Chief Justice, I've seen a lot of changes over this period of time. And now it's almost been a decade since I've been involved with the leadership of the judiciary. And part of my address is I trace that. I trace it when I first came in, just in terms of what were some of the shortcomings of the organization within the branch itself, our relationship with the other branches of government. And so I can sit here today quite satisfied with the stage that we have reached in terms of our own internal organization, operating as a unified judiciary, and our relationship with the other branches of government. And I'm proud of that.
Outstanding. Now, we literally only have 10 seconds left, so if I can just ask you one more question. What does your job mean to you? When you get up in the morning and that Phillip Carbullido gets dressed and goes off to his job, what does that mean to you?
I'm inspired to continue to do the best job I can until the very last minute in which I occupy the seat, because I see the tremendous importance that the judiciary plays in terms of our third branch of government and our relationship with the executive and legislative and all the good that we do. And so I want to praise the good that our employees do at the judiciary and take the time to do it at this address.
All right, Mr. Chief Justice, always an honor. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, and stay tuned because we will be back with our Law Week special when Extra continues right after this.